She's so excited, Brother Hamdi. She's like, super excited. Too excited.
Why? Because it is.
It's fine. Okay. Okay, please pray, Hamdi. Okay.
Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Again, Jazakumullah khairan min Allah. Subhanahu wa ta'ala will all of you the best, inshallah, for coming, being together, and for our dear brother Dave and our dear sister Renee for hosting us in here. Jazakumullah khairan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them the best, inshallah. Back to the story of Isra wal Miraj and what happened during those 12 years since the revelation of the Quran to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam till the night of Isra wal Miraj, the night journey from Mecca to Jerusalem to the farthest mosque, Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, and then from there in Al-Miraj to the seventh heaven and beyond. We're just looking at what happened before, how the Quraysh people, the disbelievers, reacted to that mission of Islam, the leaders trying to persuade or convince Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to give up this mission, kingdom, money, treatment, mentally, or to go to Abu Talib to convince him to give up this mission. He never did, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was that tactic of the sanction or the embargo for 3 years in the valley of Mecca. It did not succeed, though it was the hope for all of them to die out of hunger, out of thirst. And then, you get rid of Muhammad and his followers, so Islam would be eradicated. And a lot of people would say this is more than enough. Muhammad has been struggling and striving along with the believers and so on and so forth. Isn't it time now for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward him, to help him more, to support him in order for Islam to prevail and for him as a leader along with his followers to feel good about what is going on? The answer is not yet. He did not have enough tests or trials. Khadija was still alive, radiallahu anha warda, the first wife of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That came to the personal test, he himself. The test was for him and the Muslim community. Now it has to come to you personally. Muhammad will test you to find out how patient you are, how much of perseverance and struggling and striving for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Islam it is for Khadija to die. Khadija passed away. That's the support. He sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, by the end of the day or on the severest struggling and striving, we'll go back to our wives and say, I need your help, I need your support. What do you think? Should I keep going? I've been hunting for a job for weeks. I did not have it. What do you think? The income is not enough. What can we do? How we're doing, struggling, striving, a stranger in a strange land and so on and so forth. This is what we're doing as husbands with our wife. For Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Khadija was not only a wife for him, but was helping him in all aspects of life, especially the financial part, as we all know.
Yes.
He was the manager of her business, was taking care of her money and wealth. He did not have any money. Literally, he was working for her. But she loved for him to take care of her business and wealth and so on and so forth. Anyhow, it's time for you, Khadija, to pass away. And Khadija did. And not only this, Abu Talib, we know the story, how he was supportive, how he did his best in order to provide Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with safety and security, help and support, and so on and so forth. A few months later, Abu Talib passed away. So you, Muhammad, alone, no help and support, safety and security from Abu Talib. Know that warm and help and support and an absolute, care from your wife Khadija. Then are gone, and it's called at that time Aamul Huzn, the year of sadness and grief. As for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you have to stand alone. This is now in your personal life. You keep going with Islam, with the mission of Allah, with La ilaha illallah, Muhammadun Rasulullah, or would say, no, enough is enough now, enough of 3 years of embargo, enough of torturing, enough of persecution, enough of this, enough of that, I give up. Okay, you leaders of Quraysh, you can do whatever you want to do, I surrender. That wasn't the answer of him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it would teach us a wonderful lesson. No matter what, whatever the struggling and striving for the sake of Allah, for Islam, for yourself, for your spouse, for your children, keep going. Never give up. And you have the best example in front of you, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nothing in this world to break us down, to bring us to our knees. Never, never, no matter what. How much of suffering, how much of struggling, we have to stand for Islam and for ourselves. For him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam would say, let me take a break now. Let me take, 6 months off. Let me take a year off. Let me go to sabbatical year. Go write your memoirs and this and that and have fun somewhere else. Give up with Mecca and Meccan people. And you don't have to keep going. That's the deen of Allah. Let Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take care of it. This is your deen, ya Allah. Why me? For him, no. If it doesn't work in Mecca, let me go somewhere else. And it was his trip to At-Taif, the second largest town in Arabia at that time, in terms of trade, business, and in terms of acts of worship. They were worshipping the biggest idols in Arabia at that time. So he thought, if he goes to them and reach out for them, preach Islam to them, there would be more acceptance to Islam, more lenient. They would understand where he's coming from, and so on and so forth. He went there by himself, but along with Zayd ibn Haritha, his servant. No tanks, no military equipments, no military vehicles, no Apache, no nothing. It is just him. Reach out for them and call for Islam. There it wasn't as pleasant as in Mecca. It wasn't even equal to what happened in Mecca. It was worse than what happened in Mecca. And totally against their traditions at that time to welcome a host coming from somewhere. They did not welcome him. They did not talk to him. They did not communicate with him. They totally rejected him. And they sent their kids, stones in their hands, to stone Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam till the blood would be all over. Even if they can kill him by stoning him, it will be great. In At-Taif. The only thing he did sallallahu alaihi wasallam by a garden of Bani Rabi'a at that time, garden. He sit by the wall of this garden, not complaining, not crying, not saying anything bad, but with that wonderful and great dua he made for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, telling him that I never complain about anything whatsoever. The only thing, I am here the weakest of the weak, and you're the only one who can help and support. For many of those so-called leaders, called the White House or the Yellow House or the Red House or whatever those houses are, we need some support, come. For him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it was only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his Lord, and telling him that, I have done my best, and you have seen how people have been rejecting the mission of Islam. You are the Lord of those weak people on earth, and you are my Lord. You are the only one absolutely who can help and support, and the only thing I'm afraid of, I did not do my job. You instructed me to do specific things. I'm afraid that I did not fulfill that mission. I did not work as hard as I can. If that's the case, and you send me your wrath, you're not pleased with me, you're not happy with me, let me know in order to keep going in according to what you're telling me. And of course, with that wonderful dua, seeking refuge by the light of the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that has been enlightening the whole darkness of the whole world, and has corrected all the wrongdoing in the whole world, and has guided many prophets and many messengers with their nation before. Now I am asking you to do the same for me. You are the only one who does have the absolute power. Doesn't matter whether blood is all over, kids would stone him unexpectedly. No, I'm still willing to go, but Ya Allah, tell me, have I fulfilled that mission yet? And of course, trying to leave Taif, coming back to Mecca, where he was born and raised at, where he spent most of his life there. But the Quraysh people never granted him re-entry visa to Mecca. Muhammad, you lost everything. You lost your citizenship, you lost your re-entry visa, you don't have a passport, you don't have to come back in here, stay wherever you came from, you do not belong anymore. You see the types of humiliation and rejection and opposing. If you are in this situation of the Prophet of Islam, what can you do? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at that moment would bring someone from within the Quraysh people, the disbelievers, by the name of Al-Mut'am ibn Uday. He was not a believer, he was not a Muslim. To tell everyone in Mecca at that time, I will grant asylum to Muhammad. He would re-enter Mecca under my own protection, no matter what. Not a Muslim. This would actually teach us that وَمَا يَعْلَمُ جُنُودَ رَبِّكَ إِلَّا هُ وَمَا هِيَ إِلَّا ذِكْرَى لِلْبَشَرِ كَلَّا لَا وَزَرَ. Who would know the forces of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would work for Islam or against Islam? He enabled that non-Muslim disbeliever to grant asylum, to come under his protection to Mecca, even if he wasn't a Muslim, but to help the cause of Islam. This would tell us that never give up. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows how to help and how to support, even beyond our imagination, beyond our calculation, beyond our planning, and so on and so forth. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was able to come back to Mecca, safe and secure, though everyone was rejecting that idea or that plan of Al-Mut'am ibn Uday. So he was there. You have been following what Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has gone through. 12 years, more persecution, more killing, more torturing, more you name it, and never complain, and never ask for a reward. Nothing. Till Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala planned for him, Muhammad, we have a miracle for you. We have the biggest reward ever. It never happened to any of the previous messengers or prophets. It is you, Muhammad, from your bed at night. Jibreel will come to you, and with him that animal called Al-Buraq. It's coming from the word Al-Barq, lightning. Some people would ask, how it looks like, how this and that, It is not a horse, it is not a donkey, it is not even a mute, but we call it Al-Buraq. Muhammad, you ride and you go from Mecca to Jerusalem, to Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, there. And he did. In how much time? The speed of light? We have no clue. How much protection while he was riding Al-Buraq? We have no idea. But he was able to reach out there. By the door of the mosque of Al-Aqsa, found a post for Al-Buraq, tied it up with a post there, and entered to the masjid, waiting what might happen. All of a sudden, as a miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He resurrected all the prophets and messengers, from Adam to Jesus and anyone in between, and lying up in the masjid, waiting for the Imam to lead the prayer. Who was the Imam? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Could be Adam because of the miraculous part of his creation, or Jesus, or Moses, or Ibrahim, or Noah. No, it is you, Muhammad, to lead. All of them are behind you. Khadija is not around, but all prophets and messengers are there. Abu Talib did not come to Islam, all the prophets and messengers are behind you. And you lead, not anyone else. Part of the miracle, part of the reward. All Quraysh people have been rejecting you, do not believe in Islam. All the prophets and messengers behind you to help you and support you. Don't worry about those human beings in Mecca or in Taif. He's done with the prayer. Now it is the second part of the miracle. Now you, Muhammad, from the farthest mosque in Jerusalem, in Palestine, you go along with Jibreel to the heavens. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. And in each one of them there is a protocol. All the prophets have been raised up to all the heavens, but each group would welcome him in each heaven. We can go in a lot of details. Who was in the first, second, and so on and so forth. They were welcoming him. Till he reached out along with Jibreel to the seventh heaven. And Prophet Muhammad was kind of wondering what would be next. And Jibreel told him, keep going. He said, to where? To beyond the seventh heaven. He said, okay, fine. Aren't you coming along with me to finish that journey? I said, no. I cannot go beyond that line. You have to go yourself and meet your Lord there. He has something for you. Jibreel said, وَهُنَا يُفَارِقُ الْحَبِيبُ حَبِيبًا. That's what Jibreel exactly told him. You are the most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are the most beloved person to me, I cannot proceed. It is you only. To have that very private, unique, special reward meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala beyond the seventh heaven. And he did, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the gift and the reward and the miracle for Muhammad, the night journey Al-Isra and Al-Miraj, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never forget about the Ummah of Muhammad, the nation of Muhammad, Muslims of Muhammad, us, telling him that, Muhammad, I have also a gift for your own people. It is the prayer. It is the prescribing of the prayer to your people as the only pillar of Islam was prescribed upon us, not in terms of revelation in the Quran, but as a gift directly coming from Allah to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to us. Think about fasting, pilgrimage, zakah, almost giving for due. All of them came down in revelation in the verse of the Quran to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, except the prayer. And when it was prescribed upon us, it was 50 prayers a day. 50, not 5. When he came down to several heavens, all of the prophets were, messengers were really curious, what happened? Tell us. He told them, the only concern all of them have, especially Musa alayhi salam, Muhammad, 50 prayers a day is too much for your ummah, for your people. Your people are very weak. They cannot handle 50 prayers a day. Go back, ask your Lord, to reduce it, to, have a little less. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I will never negotiate with my Lord. Never. But anyhow, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to him that the value of the 5 daily prayers are 50. But let your ummah make it only 5. That's the revelation in the Quran. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came back to the mosque, riding his buraq, go back to Mecca, to his house, tried to have some sleep, went to his bed, touching and feeling the bedding of the bed. To his surprise, it's still warm. How much time that journey took? The speed of light? Can you imagine if you left your bed, go somewhere and come back and it's still still warm? Still warm. How many seconds? It took me to go somewhere else and come back. How many seconds? How many hours for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to. The following morning, the only one Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told about what happened was Abu Bakr. Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu arda. He said, if it happened, I believe it. No question. But he was wondering, Muhammad, when he told the Quraysh people, believers would believe it, but non-believers, of course, many questions they asked him when he told them, here's what happened to me last night and so on and so forth. I said, that trip would take us minimum 2 months traveling from Mecca to Jerusalem. How come it took you during the night and you came back? This is nonsense. We told you you lost your mind. One of them said, okay, let's find out. Would you describe to us what you have seen in your journey to there while you were, whatever, driving or flying or whatever? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he panicked. It was night. He didn't see anything. And the speed, how come even while we're driving 50 miles per hour. We do not see that much, even if we keep, looking around. For him, a speed, it's in the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And immediately Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in front of his eyes the road with all remarks there. Muhammad, you look at that spot, tell them what you saw. At that spot, tell them what you saw. Tell them about. And he kept telling them, at that spot, how many palm trees were there and so on and so forth. At that spot, there was a rest area, has such and such. On that spot, after we kept going, and everyone said, yeah, we have seen it. Yeah, we're aware of that. Yes, all of what you're saying, yes, all of these are proof and evidence. Yet by the end of that discussion, describing to them what he has seen, some of them say, didn't we tell you earlier? He's a big liar. Manipulative. Maybe someone told him about all of these things. Did not believe in that miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Think about what happened as a miracle. It is a miracle. In terms of time, in terms of, if you analyze it from the beginning, saying that the Buraq, and you're riding, and you're traveling, and from Jerusalem to the heavens, no special suit they would be wearing like astronauts in their space shuttle in order to protect them from whatever the weather was or nothing. Nothing. How much would it cost them in order to develop a space shuttle from the beginning of that arena till today? Tell me, maybe many years to come, how much they put as a budget in here in this country or in former Soviet Union and in Russia for the astronauts to be protected and safe and secure, and how much of oxygen, how much of, for Allah, it is just kun fayakun. Be, and it would be. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would bring all of the prophets and messengers to life. Maybe we think of the night journey from Mecca to Jerusalem, yes, but from Jerusalem to the heavens and beyond, we descended up there. When one of the former Soviet Union's astronaut was asked how you saw our Earth planet when you were in that mission, he said literally that I have seen an oval piece of land. Can you imagine that? That's exactly what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said after that journey, when believers as well as the disbelievers asking him that, Muhammad, how did you see our planet of Earth? The same statement. That Soviet Armstrong, I have heard it was Armstrong. I wasn't a Muslim, but he told the truth. This is what I have seen. Many scientists afterward, they said, if that former Soviet astronaut said exactly what Muhammad ﷺ said, how come we do not believe what Muhammad said? Science now and faith, they do collide, or they would be I would say at least some similarities between this and that. And of course, after what happened, even some, really unfortunate, some scholars said that, no, yeah, it happened, but it was only by his soul, not physically, not by his body. It could happen, can maybe a dream. Maybe he saw something. Maybe he was walking, and as many of the Quraysh leaders said that he's not mentally okay, he's psychologically this and that, so he can, say things. Maybe he said it, this way, like at the first time when he told them, Jibril came to me in the cave and telling me that Iqra, read and this and that. So this is part of his insanity, he can't. It is just for us today to combine what science is saying and what Islam is saying in that event. And if it is one part of our faith to believe in the unseen and to believe in angels, to believe in our, whatever happened to us, how come we do not believe in that miracle to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? What I'm trying to say in here and share with all of you, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to the best way ever. Work as hard as you can in this dunya, struggle as hard as you can, strive as hard as you can for Islam. Do not make the calculation when Allah will reward me. It could be in a day, it could be in a week, it could be in a month, it could be in a year, it could be in years, but do not depend on your human calculation. But leave it totally up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to decide when, where, how, and what as a reward for you. The only thing I got to do, just do your work, do your homework, and leave it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there is a reward. There is definitely a reward. And also to believe in what happened in here and visit it and revisit it once in a while in order to draw some lessons, to share it as spouses together, and also for our children to look at this part, wonderful part of the history of Islam, biography of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Here's what happened. Are we able and capable to do something similar to what he did, especially here in this land, to keep struggling and striving for Islam, to promote Islam, to help Muslims, to help ourselves have more of understanding of Islam, and so on and so forth? The question is in front of all of us, and we have to answer Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here I will stop, but please, feel free to ask as many questions as you can. If I do have answers for them, I will share it with all of you, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Jazakumullah khair.
Question, brother, sister?
Yes. Gary, thank you so much for the beautiful talk. I have a question about when the prayers were given to mankind when he met Allah, when the Prophet, peace be upon him, met Allah. And then he came back down, and it was Prophet Musa, be upon him, questioned that. And the Prophet said, I wouldn't negotiate. I guess I find it surprising that any of the prophets would raise a question. So I wonder if you have a comment on that.
Wonderful question, Brother Gary in here. Not all of the prophets and messengers were questioning except Musa. Musa loved to question Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to have a dispute in faith or not faith. If we read the history of Bani Israel, the Israelites, along with Sayyidina Musa, they had a lot of argument about a lot of things, about everything. Sayyidina Musa once was asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about some specific things. فالله سبحانه وتعالى يعني answer him and say أولو تؤمن يا موسى موسى don't you believe? I said بلى ولكن لا يطمئن قلبي. That's what he said. I do believe, but I would like to have more comfort in my heart. That's the way Sayyidina Musa was discussing things with Allah. And I'm not saying arguing or... Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, يعني, look at this mountain there. Because Musa wanted to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at that moment. And he said, how and where and is it possible? And he told them, look at this mountain back there. فَإِنَ اسْتَقَرَّ مَكَانَهُ. If that mountain stay as is, you will see me. If something happened, so there is no way to see me. And immediately Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has destroyed the mountain. فَخَرَّ مُوسَى صَاعِقًا. Came to his face on the ground, was absolutely shocked. If Musa, if you'd like me to show you who am I, what I'm doing, and so on and so forth, in a matter of a fraction of a second, I would do something for you to have comfort in your heart for the belief you do have in me. Here you go. فَخَرَّ مُوسَى صَاعِقًا. So, Musa knew that with his approach with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how come Muhammad, you carry that heavy mission for your people and they can't take it easily. It is not that, go tell him to. That's his way of not to reject what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been ordained upon us or commanding us to do, but out of mercy, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has enabled him to see the future of us, the Ummah of Muhammad, people, how they can stand such a thing would be too heavy for them or too lenient or too easy to handle. It was a matter of advice, and it was a matter of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has inspired him, this would be too much for your people, Muhammad, it won't hurt if you just go and tell him, this and that. So that's the nature of Sayyidina Musa in terms of dealing with a lot of issues, not only for himself, not only for his own people, but also for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A little story in here, if you go to the second chapter of the Quran, the Kahf, Surah Al-Baqarah, how the people of Musa were arguing with him when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has demanded him to ask them to slaughter a cow for a reason. There was someone who was killed, and no one would come forward to tell who committed that crime. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them, Musa, ask them to slaughter a cow. And once you slaughter the cow, we'll have a piece of it, and someone will take that piece, hit someone with that piece of the cow, he would be the one or the murderer. Okay? You know how much of argument people of Musa, the Israelites, tell us. What kind of cow? What is the color? How the age? How it looks like? How this and how this and how that. Back and forth, back and forth. Musa did not have the answer, but he had to go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, telling him that they are asking me this question. How can I answer them? Say, Musa, tell them such and such. Okay, Musa, how about that question? Okay, Musa, how about that question? How about that question? They wanted him to give up. Because they knew the truth will prevail. You know what I mean? So Musa is coming from that background. And if you compare him with Adam, compare him with Isa, compare him with Noah, Ibrahim, would be totally different. But out of mercy and out of concern and out of love to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and out of love to us too, he figured out that, inspired by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's going to be too much. for you Muslims, to take care. And if you go the same line and you just Google, something of discussion or argument you will find many things. You would love to read about all of those things there. Yeah. More questions? Comments? Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the one that I touched me is the gift. The gift. The salat is a gift. It's not a burden. So, yeah, this is very touching because if we get the gift, then we are actually honored by somebody. And then the salat is the gift. You mentioned about the gift. It's very touching. So, and then at that time, what Allah asked Rasulullah to the Ummah to do a prayer. So is the prayer like we do right now, or what Allah asked?
Jazakallah khairan. Any wonderful question. The salah is a gift. And this is what I love for all of you, wallahi, and I may ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable you to live your salah. Not only to practice the salah. And wherever you are, here, somewhere else, in a mosque, outside, in Mecca, in Medina, while you're performing the salah, please, wallahi, fly up. Go to the heavens. Put in your mind, I'm having the salah now. Mi'arajul mu'min. The descent of being lifted up to the heavens and beyond to see Allah. That's the salah. That's why it is a gift. That's why we do not pay enough attention to it, to do it this way. It is just a matter, it's time for the salah. Okay. Line up. Okay. Have iqamah. That's okay. Allahu Akbar. 2 rakat, 3 rakat, 4 rakat, we're done. Alhamdulillah. Great. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. But how many of us would go by his heart or her heart, soul and mind beyond those walls and the ceiling and saying, I am coming to you, Allah. Wallahi, and I'm saying wallahi, making this oath by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you do it this way, you feel that I want to be there, I do not want to come back. Period. Otherwise, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam will never tell Bilal radiallahu anhu arda, Arihna biha ya Bilal. Bilal, let's have the prayer in order to have the best comfort ever. This is your time out from the dunya. This is our time out from all of those pressure and tension and agony and sadness, you name it. As we take a coffee break, as we take lunch break, take spiritual break. And go that way, and I'm coming to you, Allah. And when I'm coming up and up and up to you, I know you'll answer me. And I will ask you for something. But it's really, really unfortunate. We're doing it in a very mechanical way. Not even thinking. And I may ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable me and extend my life, and with the permission from my dear brother Yudi, I'm not going to impose myself on you, but to have a special session about the salah. The salah. Why? Man aqamaha faqad aqama ad-din. Whoever established the prayer well, as if he or she established the whole religion of Islam. Fasting, it is not that hard. Though we're going to have a long day and hot summer in July and so on and so forth. But we're able and capable of doing it. But here, Sister Jazakallah Khair, the salah, let's have it this way. Let's keep convincing ourselves. When I come to this, I am disconnecting myself with the whole world? Are we practicing the way it was prescribed upon us when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from Allah to Muhammad to us, Muhammad, here's the gift. That's it. One word. Later, Quran saying, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةِ. Establish your prayer. But if you open the Quran in any page, in any chapter, in any verse, it never gives us the details. What the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is teaching, when Jibreel came to him and asked him, what you do, what is this, what is that, Salah, you do it this way. And he learned. And he taught the Sahaba 2 rak'at for Subh, 2 rak'at for Fajr, 4 rak'at for Dhuhr, 4 rak'at for Asr, 3 rak'at for Maghrib, 4 rak'at for Isha. In each rak'at, what should we be doing? How many ruku', how many sujood, and so on and so forth. What we read, what we recite, and so on and so forth. But from there, from Allah to Muhammad, is your gift. I wish it would be in details. So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ will spend more time with Allah. But Allah has some other things to take care of. You know what I mean? Muhammad, it's enough for you, Salah, go. You know what I mean? I personally, I would love to read, how much time Muhammad ﷺ spent with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as my prophet, at the seal of all prophets and messengers. Could be a fraction of a second, it could be, we never know. But no one told. Even Muhammad ﷺ. Keep it to Allah, keep it to Him. But take Salah this way as a wonderful lesson of Al-Isra wal-Miraj. Al-Isra wal-Miraj. Yes. Yes.
So I have a clarification question on this one. But before that, I want to say, so if this Salah is a gift for us, a Muslim, that means the Salah itself is for us. It's not like there's so many people saying you pray, you worship Allah is for Allah. Right? So this is a gift for us. So we have to pray because it's a gift. It's also good for us. It's not for benefit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the clarification that I have is the story about Musa, that he want to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala face to face. That mountain was crashed down to the earth. In the case of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is this Prophet Muhammad see face to face with Allah or just hearing the voice? Because what I heard that we only see Allah when we enter Jannah. Allah promised all the Muslim, all the Ummah who believe in Allah, they will see the face of Allah in Jannah, but it's not the same of human being as the dunya. Does that apply?
That's a great question. From what I learned, from what I have studied, from many scholars I have learned from, there was a face-to-face. Think of those 12 years of struggling and striving, and what happened. And for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward him and to honor him. Okay. And if you compare him with any prophets or any messengers before him, and think of your Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he has done. Of course, لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله. We do not distinguish between any one of them. All of them are chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and in order to fulfill a specific mission. But that was a special honor for him and for us. Why? Because he is the seal of all prophets and messengers. Some other scholars were no, it wasn't a face-to-face. The other scholars, when they say, yeah, it was face-to-face, they were asking for proof and evidence and this and that. But it kept going on and on and on, back and forth, back and forth. But for me even, does it make any difference? The gift was given. The reward was given to him as well as for us. Either face to face directly or not, I would say This is not my business. You know, it won't add a lot to me. But what it would really encourage me, and this is a wonderful point you raised, am I planning to see him, subhanahu wa ta'ala, in Jannah or not? That's the issue. I love to see him. I love to see him face to face. Am I working toward this? I'm struggling and striving to see him there. That's the question. And that's the emphasis. And that's what we have to pay enough attention to. Whether Muhammad ﷺ saw him directly or not, face to face or not, this is over. But it is me today, and in the day of judgment, and in Jannah, am I prepared for this or not? That's the major question I have to ask myself. Don't worry about your prophet. Don't worry about your messenger. Okay? But he got the gift for us, and he got the gift for himself. He got the reward for himself and for us as well. And now there are many teaching lessons we have to benefit from. Okay. Jazakallah khair. Yes.
For many questions to you, but not make you hard. But I would like to improve my faith, my iman. It not make confused. Actually, I would like straight. Many in the ayah, Allah command to count. If you're not change, you're not gonna get. What order? What the command Allah to make we success from this order by materialistic thing, or spiritual thing, or with a connection 17 time a day with salah. We always ask to Allah guide to the right path. What the goal? What the purpose to one kaum or one ummah to make change? That's my question. Inshallah.
Jazakallah khairan, Brother Wahyu. If all of us are working, or majority of us are working, not everyone, at our workplace, we're trying to accomplish specific things. Whatever the duties and assignments I have to done with it. Otherwise, they do not need me, right? Second, to keep my job in order to keep earning, right? Third, I don't like to be in that position for the rest of my life, but I'm working to be promoted, to be raised. Am I right or wrong? Or I'm dreaming? No lie, tell me. Maybe I'm coming from different perspective. And even to be CEO of that corporation, or even beyond, or be a big shot in this, or when I apply to go somewhere else, and so on and so forth. And I'm planning, for the retirement. This is what I have accomplished. I have that self-actualization in my life, materialistically, right? Money, prestige, job, earning, you name it. Why don't we do that faithfully with Islam? And we're succeeding. I don't see anyone who's not succeeding. Work so hard, get promoted, get raised, earn more money, be in much better position, and so on and so forth. Why we put a lot of emphasis in that direction, but we do not put a lot of emphasis in my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allah, when you're going to promote me, did you work for it? Okay, fine, we'll give you. You need some raise, we'll give you. Work for it. But don't stay home and say, Ya Allah, now I have to be promoted. Where is my promotion? Where is my raise? How are you going to help me in this? You work for it. Do your homework. We'll hire you. What you want to be? Okay. You want to have more training at your workplace? Have it. You want to pursue MBA more? Have it. You want to do this? Have it. And you'll be fine. Work as hard as I can in my business in order to have more profits and this and that. Do it. Wallahi, if we're doing the same or even a little less than what we're doing in our workplace, but with Allah, for our deen, for ourselves, for our soul, for our mentality, definitely will be the best ummah ukhrijat lin-nas. You will be the best nation ever brought up to mankind. But why you're so behind? And in everything, subhanallah. And in education, you name it. In health, you name it. I'm talking about back home, our countries and our communities, and so on and so forth. And it is in our deen, Brother Wahyu as well. We're not taking things seriously. Individually, yes, are very, very successful. But collectively, community, no. For many reasons. Maybe a lack of leadership, maybe a lack of, putting a lot of emphasis in many things we're doing, and so on and so forth. But this is a very serious matter. It is. That's why may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all of you the best. Wallahi. And guide you the best. And keep that wonderful gathering in a monthly basis in order to enhance our knowledge of our deen, of Islam, and take care of ourselves, spouses, and our children, and keep that wonderful brotherhood and a sisterhood. Go drive around. Don't go, but I'm just saying. Go to Lake Harriet now, see what's going on there. I didn't go there. People are having fun, right, Brother Gary? Wallahi. Rajukum. People are having fun. We're here maybe sweating and waiting, and Hamdy is giving us hard time and saying that, do this and do that and keep doing that. Enough of you, we're hungry. Let's go and eat. Wallahi, when I looked at the direction today and I said, oh, it's 25 miles. Brother Yudi. And she was telling me that, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do this. Memorial Day and so on and so forth. I said, think about it seriously. And all of us are looking for happiness and pleasure.
Yes.
And one way beside the materialistic aspect of it, our spirituality, our connectedness with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we don't care as adults, please wallahi, do care about your children. Don't, never let them be melted in this part. Prepare them to be good citizens of this country, and Islamically good and sound. This is the continuation of many generations of Muslims here in this land. And here in this country, they do need Islam. They do. And we do as well. So it's wahyu, it's a serious issue. It is a serious issue. Yes. Yes. If you're not hungry enough, ask more questions. Super hungry. We can stop. But I do not want to go right away upstairs since my dear brother Lee just came. And he might take it personally, but we'd love to stay with him and enjoy him for a while. So, more questions. Sisters' questions.
More
Or
questions?
brothers' questions.
I think I have.
Yes. Yes.
Lots of people are asking about what is religion for you and what is the spiritual for you. So I'm going to ask Brother Hamdy, what is religion for you, and then what is the religion and what is the spiritual? Because some people say that the religion is the dogma that rules the regions and something, and then the spiritual is something that comes from your soul to do good, even with Allah or with people or with others. So just want to make sure in the Islamic itself, so it's going to